Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Loopy here, back at it with another video. As you can see, we got 31 diamonds. Now, I did record me getting those diamonds, but unfortunately, the footage is just gone. It just disappeared. So, I mean, we're gonna start off from here, where I'm kind of trying to get back home because I was about to die. But yeah. So today I have about 5 stories to go through, and we're gonna start off with the first story, titled When I Shut Down My Young Coworker's Advances. All right, Reddit. This particular screw up happened last night, and I'm currently at my desk feeling like I'm just waiting for a bomb to go off. Look, I'm just a regular guy, 32 years old, married to a woman who's way out of my league. And our life is simple and good, and I like it that way. I come home to work, I do my job, I go home. The last thing I want or need is drama. About a month ago, we hired a new girl. She's 18, right out of school, and full of that bubbly energy I vaguely remember having. For some reason, she's decided I'm her target. At first, I figured she was just friendly, but it's gotten to a point where I can't ignore it. It's been things like finding little hearts drawn on my notepads if I leave them in the kitchen, the constant staring. I'll be working and get that feeling that someone's just watching me. And sure enough, it's her. She just blushes when I look up. 3. Some loudmouth in sales jokingly called her my work wife, and she just ran with it. Started singing notes to me, with just mortifying. The real kicker was when I was talking with a buddy here about wanting kids with my wife, and she, who was pretending not to listen, chirps in with, I've always thought I'd make a great stepmom. What do you even say to that? My strategy, which in hindsight was pretty dumb, was to just be aggressively married. I'd bring my wife up constantly, hoping she'd get the message. My wife and I saw that movie. My wife and I, my wife packs my lunch, etc. I thought I was just setting a clear boundary. I was not. So this brings us to the fuck up last night. It's late, and it's just the two of us left in the office finishing a project. The place is dead quiet. She brings me a coffee I didn't ask for, and does that thing where her fingers linger on mine for way too long when she hands it to me. I pulled my hand away, and she gets this really serious look and asks, Are you really happy? And that was it. My patience, which I usually have a lot of, just hit zero. All the weeks of awkwardness and cringing just boiled over. I dropped the polite, nice guy act, and I was just blunt. I looked her right in the eye and said, My wife is my world. That's not an appropriate question for work, and it's not up for discussion. I expected her to get embarrassed, maybe stammer an apology, but that's not what happened. It was like I flipped a switch. The smile, the bubbly personality, all of it just vanished. Her face went completely blank. She just stared at me for a second and said, Okay, in this flat, dead voice. The rest of the night was dead silent. It was the most uncomfortable hour of my entire career. Today, it's like I'm sitting next to a stranger, a really angry stranger. She won't look at me, but the vibe is so hostile, it's making my skin crawl. I'm no longer dealing with a kid, with a crush. I'm dealing with a pissed off woman I have to work with every single day. My big F up was thinking that being direct would solve the problem, but I think I just made it 1,000 times worse. Now I'm just sitting here, replaying it in my head, convinced she's going to march down to HR and claim I was the one hitting on her. Damn, that's the first story. I mean, not much to say there, but respect that guy. Next story, titled Took Petty Revenge on a Karen. Gotta love the Karens, man. I worked at a small car wash where business can go from dead silence to bustling with customers. We get all kinds every day, and most of them are pretty tolerable, especially those who have a membership with us. How it works is that we give them a barcode sticker that has to go on their windshield and our scanners automatically let them through. A lot of people just keep the sticker on a slip of paper and hold it up against the glass when they come through because apparently it's too much to ask for the bare minimum now. It's all now a corporate policy. We have to enforce that if they have a membership, we cannot allow them in unless the sticker is up. It keeps them from sharing passwords and whatnot. It's dumb, but my bosses are on my ass about being firm with customers who refuse to cooperate. A lot of them just argue with us for a minute and then either put the sticker up or full on cancel their membership with us. Good riddance. Earlier this week, I came face to face with a woman who looked like she was born to be a Karen. I'm talking blonde, short, the oversized sunglasses, the car that's too big for her to drive, and a high-pitched, grating voice. She came through, holding her sticker up, acting like I wasn't even there, saying hello to her. When I kindly told her, just so you know, we have a policy that says you have to put your. She then cut me off immediately and said, I know. They were telling me last time that I have to. I haven't had time to, and I'm not doing it. Slightly stunned, I kept my voice level and said, I'm just saying. And then she got even bitchier and said, I pay $27 a month, so I should be able to put it wherever I want. After reminding her it's not my policy, she dismissed me and drove through. After, she came out and started messing around with the vacuums. I told her politely that she most likely won't be allowed back in next time if her sticker isn't up. Looking fully annoyed at me, she said, okay, well then, I'll most likely be canceling my membership. News that had me internally doing cartwheels. But it wasn't enough to calm me down since seeing I was seething from all the similar treatment me and my coworkers have been going through over the past few months over this new policy. Once she left, I pulled up her account info with us, and after debating with myself for 30 minutes, ended up changing her barcode to a different one. So if she does come through again, it's not going to work, and possibly register her account as inactive. Worst case scenario, we'll simply assign her a new one, and in the process, we will have to order her to put it on the windshield this time and make sure it happens, since it takes 24 hours for a sticker to activate. Either way, she'll have to cooperate if she comes through again. Those of you out there who take it personally when we ask you to put your sticker up, your precious little windshield will look just fine with something on it. People do it every day and survive just fine. Take your first word problems and shove it. First world problems. Sorry. We are not asking you for a kidney, and 9 out of 10 times don't give a F what you do, but are just being ordered to enforce a policy. We don't care how much you pay for your damn membership. Rules come with them for a reason. And we are overworked and underpaid people who deal with your unnecessary attitudes every day. Just because you're the customer doesn't mean you can talk to us like we're your little personal servants. We love to provide good service for people who treat us like people. And to the ones who don't, just know we're most likely looking for ways to make sure your experience is just as inconvenient as ours. Damn, I mean, I don't think it's a big deal, but she's kind of she's kind of pretty livid. But I mean, props to her. Next story. This is a scary story. It's a creepy story. About 2 years ago, I was driving home from a family reunion pretty late at night, and the drive was about 2 hours. I didn't stay the night because I had to be back for work the following day. Most of the drive was on roads and with dense bushes and trees on either side. The real creepy ones you see a lot in movies. Anyway, I had been driving about 45 minutes, and I was starting to get really tired. You know how sometimes you just suddenly become really tired out of nowhere? Well, yeah, that happened to me. I knew I wasn't going to last, but I didn't come across any place that I felt I could park and safely sleep. Anyway, after it became clear to me that I wasn't going to find a place to pull up, and my tiredness wasn't going away, I did something very questionable. I pulled over to the side of the road on the grass, behind some bushes. to try and hide my car from anybody else who was going to come past. I made a mental note that the time was 11:22, and then I fell asleep. And I'm not sure if the person in the story is a woman, but if it was a woman, I mean, that is an extremely bad idea. I mean, even in a guy situation, it's extremely scary. I think you're better off just, well, actually, if you're too tired, it could be dangerous on the road as well. So I don't know. Anyway, sometime later, I was awoken by a scratching sound. I looked at the clock. 11:50. The sound stopped after a few seconds, and because I was still extremely tired, I didn't bother looking around and simply went back to sleep. I was later awoken by the same sound, and it was now 12:40. This time, it really freaked me out because that sound did not stop. The thought ran across my mind that it was just an animal inspecting the car. But why would it return almost an hour after it left the previous time? I looked in my rearview mirror and just managed to catch a glimpse of something running away into the forest. Now, at the time, I thought it was the damn hook killer. You know, the one that scratched that couple's car and then slaughtered the guy when he got out to investigate? F that, I thought to myself. So I got the hell out of there. There was a bend no more than 100 yards up the road, and as I came around it, there was a car parked off to the side of the road with the driver's side door open. I slowed down just to look to see if anyone was there. There wasn't. Then I looked in my rearview mirror. I didn't see anything. And all of a sudden, this guy comes sprinting out the corner. He starts screaming at me, shouting stuff like, "Hey, hey, you, get out of your car now." I got the F out of there and sped off. Never saw that guy again. Moral of the story: don't sleep on the side of a deserted road. I could not agree more. That was a big, big mistake on her end. All right, we got two shorter stories coming in. This one is about an ex-girlfriend. Gotta love those. So, I broke up with this girl on a Monday, but me being me, I tried to stay friends with her. When I broke up with her, she kept saying I needed to give her 6 more weeks of closure and that I was her last chance at dating since she's 28. 6 weeks of closure is long. On Friday, she shows up and says, "I'm going to let you go, but I want you to know that I am pregnant." The next day, she calls me saying she's going to the ER. Later that day, I get a phone call. She says that it's a tubular pregnancy and needs to take the abortion pill. Usually, this requires surgery. She asked me if I would come over that night because she would need moral support. I felt obligated to. When I was there, I told her I was going to leave when she went to bed. She started to cry and said she was afraid she might hurt herself, so I needed to stay there. That freaked me out, so I did. At night, then she took my hand, put it on her belly, and said, "Say goodbye." That's a bit creepy. It's a bit weird. I mean, you don't got to make a big traumatizing deal out of it, but I mean, for some people, I can see how it could be, but it's kind of weird. Anyways, the next day I woke up and got the hell out. I figured it was all over. That Monday, I get a phone call. She says, "I am still pregnant." Apparently, according to her, she had twins, and the one had survived. I told her I wanted to go with her to the next doctor appointment. She said, fine. It was Wednesday. On Tuesday, she messages me, tells me they had an opening, so she went early. Asked if I wanted a picture. I said sure. She sent me one, and I looked at it. No information on it. So I asked her, and she said that they emailed it to her. Made sense. They removed all identifiable information. 2 days later, a friend with a better Google view than me took that picture and found it online under someone else's name. You could even see where parts of the image had elements removed. I confronted her about it. She said she couldn't believe I would believe her and my child would never know who I am. The next day, she sent me an email saying her lawyer would be in touch. The next day she sent me an email saying she was going to have the abortion, but I needed to pick her up and paid for it. 5 minutes later, she sent me an email saying that if I didn't respond, she would just keep the child. I responded back, saying that I had found the image, showed her the link, and said, Her story has about a 1 in 500,000 chance of being real, even without the fake image. I said, if she continued to harass me, I would get a protection from harassment. 2 weeks went by. I hear nothing. Then I get a call at 6 p.m. from her home phone number. The girl that sounds very much like her cousin says that she is her cousin, going to be her lawyer, and I need to call her back. Only problem, that callback number was her home phone number. So obviously this is fake as well. Oh, and this has been my last 3 weeks. So it's probably not even over. Gotta feel for these guys, man. Some girls are they just lose it when they don't get what they want. And that's it's kind of messed up. So as you can see right now, I'm building this. I don't know what kind of house I want to build, but I want to do something on this mountain with all these pink trees. I think it could be a vibe. Put some lanterns, make a nice path, maybe even make a bridge. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not the best at building. As you can see, it's been like so long since I've played, but we'll see where it goes as the clips go on. All right, so moving on to the final story. This is a high school story, and I don't really have a title for it. When I was in high school, I had a really good friend who lived next door to a house that was always up for sale. People would move out in the middle of the night without a word, and it hadn't had the same owner for more than 6 months straight for a couple of years. One night, we were really bored, and he suggested we go explore the house next door, since it had sat empty for a while. We go around the back, and there's a dog door, that he can crawl through. He unlocks the door and lets me in. The house itself is really unremarkable. It looked like it was built in maybe the 1950s and was a craftsman style house in an older, nicer part of town. The kitchen had a really nice built-in breakfast table set against a picture window. The house's electricity was off, but you could see the street light through the window. My friend and I sit down on the floor across from this table and are just hanging out, talking. Why? Who knows? All of a sudden, my friend screams, and in that instant, my vision goes black. But it wasn't that I just couldn't see. My body was engulfed in this sticky coldness from head to toe. I start screaming and feel my friend's hand grabbing mine and pulling me in some direction forcefully. My vision slowly comes back, and I start to warm up when I realize that we're outside under the streetlight. It was December and should have been much warmer inside that house. Finally, I look at my friend and he looks scared. I'm really confused and kind of panicked myself and finally ask him what happened. He says that as I was talking, a black thing, this figure that was all black and only had the vague shape of a girl, crawled out from under the table and sat on top of me. Apparently, I started grabbing her with my eyes wide open, like I couldn't see, and he was so freaked out, he pulled me out of the house. We're still friends and bring it up every now and then, but the story itself never changes and still sends chills down my spine. To this day, I've never felt such blackness or coldness in my life. It was palpable, almost sticky. For a couple of days afterward, I couldn't shake this unsettling feeling, and I could never walk past that house again. This is a very weird but interesting story. I wonder how old he was when this happened. I feel like sometimes as you get older, stories tend to change. Not that I want to not believe it, but I feel like even stories that I remember from like the past, they kind of change as I get older, and I tend to forget the details, and details are made up on their own sometimes. But I mean, this is a very creepy story. I don't know if I want to believe it or not. I mean, you never know, but nevertheless, that's it for this video. I thought I'd make it shorter than the other one. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any suggestions, do leave them in the comments below. But yeah, if you have your stories too that you want to share to me, that you want me to read, please do send them to the email in the description below as well. Leave a like, subscribe, and hopefully we get on to making a nice house in this world. I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm gonna plant a bunch of pink trees everywhere, make a bridge, and things are gonna look nice. But yeah, see you in the next one.